Okay, now it's on. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a finance report in your packet there. For the report ending February 28, 2023, the city is on track with the budget. Our revenue sources, our key revenue sources for the general fund is mostly property taxes, sales tax. Our property taxes, we are at 81% collection right now, which is it's good. We're looking for maybe 97, 98%. We get most of our property tax revenue within the first couple months of the year. So after March, we're probably not going to see too much of that. Sales tax revenue is at about 56%, which is over half the budget that we were anticipating. So that's good as well. Strawberry Festival is coming up next month. Property owners are already starting to sell their booth spaces, and then once a vendor buys a booth space, and they have to come pull permits here at the city. So we will have Strawberry Festival revenue in that line item there. And the general fund expenditures, utility fund expenditures, everything's on track with the budget right now. We're like 50-50. 50% into the budget, 50% out of spending. So we're doing really well. But other than that, I don't really have much to report on. Any questions? No? All good? Did I put it? Oh, no, I didn't.
68 new cases filed. The appearance docket, we had 85, and 28 signed in to see the judge and the prosecutor. This year versus last year, we are collecting more on that. By the city, we are keeping more. This year we made, this last month was $7,254.99 versus last year was $6,390.41. Remitted to the state was $4,770.44. The collection agency was $807.98. Out of warrants was $250, and out of omni was $210. I am participating. I made a flyer for the warrant roundup, and we've had a positive response. I put it out last week, and so we've had quite a few call in and inquiring and trying to take care of their citations. So it's been good. I don't know if anybody has any questions or. Okay, thank you.
Mayor, Council, I'm Noe Rodriguez. As you know, Chief Hickman's still out on leave, so I'm here to present the report for him. For this month, we had 127 calls for service. Out of those calls, we generated 2 new cases. There was 3 arrests made and 1 shots fired call. Do y'all have any questions on that report that was submitted? Unless you want a little breakdown right quick. No, you're good? Okay, other than that, we've been kind of busy at the police department. Between yesterday and today, we had the organization called Saving a Hero's Place. They're building us a memorial chair for Officer Richardson that we lost last year. With that, TMPA came by today and fed them and us as well. So it was kind of, the weather didn't help too much, but they got it done. The chair will be presented to our police department tomorrow at 8 p.m. is what I was told. Like the clerk said, we also kind of participated in that warrant roundup. It was more of an awareness campaign than anything else. But we've even had calls at the PD where we have to forward them to them because they've been calling about the warrants. Another thing, yesterday we received our ballistic shields that we had been awarded on the grant. There was 9 of them, and we got them in yesterday, which would greatly help in our response. Believe me. We'll have to attend some training before we're able to use them, of course, but at least that's in place. Good. Okay. This will be for February, because March ain't, we wait till the end of the month to get the results off our computer system. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
Mayor, Council, good evening. For the month of February, we had, well, Water Department, all the wells are running normal. We did the repair at Aggie Tower. I don't know if y'all remember the item that we brought up. Man, that thing went smooth. It was awesome. We didn't have any issues, and that's repaired and just looks a little weird, but it's working good. They cleaned out the tank, drained it all out. Everything's working fine. 10, 11, they're all running normal. We haven't had any issues. Number 9, we do have a transducer that's out, but I ordered it and it should be in, and it's not going to affect anything. It's just basically the well number 9 is taking a rest right now, getting ready for the hot summer months. We've had 2 service repairs, 1-inch repairs that we had to the crew fixed. 1 4-inch collar main that they repaired as well. 67 total disconnects for the month of February. They repaired one collapsed lateral line at Avenue K and 7th Street for the collection system. And we had one main backup on County Road 305 and Highway 16. And of course, they mentioned Strawberry Festival's coming up, so the guys are scraping streets and fixing to start patching potholes. Miss Popham reached out to a neighboring city, and April the 6th, they're gonna bring us a street sweeper, and we're gonna start taking care of the parade route. And Mr. Carson and one of the guys that works with him, they're gonna start painting some fire hydrants and the curb in front of it, trying to get it all prepared. And the guys have also started putting up the banners for the festival.
Those tools that we got, I got those years ago, through a forestry grant, when, actually when they, did a disaster, when we all burned up, and the state came in and gave us money for that, and that helped us out to get those.
I don't know if they've been here before. I think the girls said they haven't been here, so we also mentioned the police department, and we asked if they could also help, Rossville Fire Department too. So we're hoping we get good news from them. We will let you know, okay?
All right, thank you.
Got a couple things. Chief, I know that you were invited to instruct fire school in Uvalde.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Winter Garden's coming up again. It's gonna be at the end of April. Jerry Russ from Del Rio Fire Department. I'm one of their instructors. I do ropes and stuff, but this time he wants me to instruct a PPE and an SCBA class. So it's a little deal. It's probably going to start for firefighting one and some of the up and coming firefighters. So they did ask me. It's on a Saturday. I'm off on those days, so I'll be going to Uvalde instructional classes.
I wanted to thank the fire departments, not just our fire department, but Jourdanton and the Atascosa surrounding fire departments. Man, it's kind of tough when you go to a structure fire and you have some lives lost. I just want everybody to know that there's help out there. I know Miss Wendy Knox has avenues that you can take if you need to speak to anybody. It was kind of tough. I know you yourself and we talked about that, and it kind of hung around for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it took 2 weeks. Closing my eyes at night, you can see those kids. It gets tough. I work through it. It'll be good. There was something else. We had another structure fire. Pokey had to go all the way out to Forty Road, just outside of 37, going towards Floresville. An elderly couple's house caught, I think it was Jim Walker's home, caught fire. I guess they're still investigating that one. I got home here in Pokey about 3 o'clock in the morning. Got home enough to take a shower, clean up, get a couple hours sleep, go have my coffee and be at work the next day. My wagon was dragging, but we made it, we made it, but I'm gonna tell you, their dog saved their life, the dog. If it wasn't for that dog barking and them going to investigate what the dog was barking at, they probably would have run up on that. But I just want to share that with you.
Thank you.
If I may, would they be completed before Strawberry Festival time?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so
That
they-
was part of the.
It's kind of a
Yes.
small window there.
Yeah, no, and it's just ironic that you asked me, sir, and then I also had a concerned citizen come and visit with myself and Mayor.
Right.
But we were already on the calendar, so
Okay,
it's
good.
not like I did any miracles or anything like that.
No, you did.
They knew that there were some problems already, so they have had it worked out to get us on that schedule, so we should be more than done.
Okay.
For the festival.
Thank you.
Addressing department findings, a couple of things that have come up, in the last few months, and something that we've been working on pretty heavy, in our utility department, old and dead meters. Working with PSI and Public Works.
I do want to state that I appreciate you being proactive in addressing this prior to, because again, we don't want to be caught up in a situation where there's that sticker shock whenever they start getting the actual reading. So
And we may still have some of that.
we
because,
will, we will.
The meters have not been reading accurately, or they're dead, or whatever, so we may have a little bit of that, but we'll just address it on an individual basis, and we'll do everything that we can, to get everybody, they're gonna read proper now. So if you had a few months of a nice bill, you're about to be reading right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we appreciate, or at least I appreciate y'all being proactive about that. Thank you.
very much. So our Easter event will start at 10 a.m. on Saturday. We will have a cornhole tournament. Curtis is putting that on. How many teams do you have now, Curtis?
Looking at 3 right now.
Okay. I know you've had several calls, though, because we've had several here.
Yeah, fortunately, we lost a bunch of them, so they have regionals
Oh, yeah.
weekend, so
Yeah.
they're gonna bring us some awards and stuff. So
Good deal, good deal. We're going to have a cakewalk. We'll have music. We're going to have kid games, egg hunt. We have 4 different categories of Easter egg hunts. So coloring contest, everything's free. Hot dogs, chips, soda, desserts, the whole 9 yards. So come out and join us on Saturday. It's going to be a blast, no doubt. So the next item is save the date. We're bringing this to you a little bit early, but Cinco de Mayo is on May the 5th, and the City of Poteet and the Poteet Chamber of Commerce have teamed up with Chamber President Terry Buenteo and all the other board members, and they're going to have their first event at their new chamber office. So they'll have that all ready to go, and we've got some big plans for that. So make sure you put that on your calendar for sure. We're gonna do 5 to 8 is what we were looking at. 5 to 8. Not too late, that kind of a thing, but we're talking about having the pastries, the taco, the mini tacos, all of those good things. So, and we'll have more to come as soon as we get it all put together. We'll put a flyer out that will tell a little bit more about what we're going to be doing for sure. So. Moving on to, first of all, before I do Employee of the Month, I want to recognize somebody. Isaiah, can you come forward, sir? I wanted to let everybody know that Isaiah needs to be recognized for passing the test for getting his D license in basic water. So, big round of applause. So exciting. Yes, he's been working real hard on that, and now that he has that, he says, Miss Popham, I'm not stopping here. I'm ready to take the next class. And I said, well, you just get it lined up because we're ready to put you there. So we appreciate you and we thank you for all that you do. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's a big thing. That's great. Yes, so exciting. So our February Employee of the Month, in the middle of December, as we all know, our city secretary fell, broke her shoulder. 3 months later, poor Carrie is still out. I talked with her last week, and she's doing physical therapy, doing a little better. Next doctor's appointment is on like April the 6th, so we'll know a little bit more then on where we're at. But with that being said, 2 weeks after she fell, our finance director gave her 2 weeks notice and took a job elsewhere. I was like, oh Jesus, okay, here we go. But when you have a team in place like we do, I should have never worried because I know that everybody has one another. Abby is going to be our February Employee of the Month. Abby stepped up to the plate. Poor girl, we can't even fit all her titles on her business card right now, but our HR director, everything Melissa needs her to do, finance director, deputy city secretary. Abby, will you join me up here, please? She is definitely an asset to our team. So, a couple of things for you. Here we go. And we'll snag a picture real quick, okay? Her favorite place to eat is La Mesa, so that's where her gift card is too. So we were a little behind on this, so I had to do February and March together. So we also have another individual who has stepped up to the plate like in a different way. And when they first applied, I was like, man, I don't get this. But one of the best decisions that we've made is to bring this gentleman on. can always find him. And every time I find him, he's making sure that our city looks great. He's picking up trash. He's doing whatever. He goes above and beyond at the call. You've got something that you need done, speed dial right there. And before you know it, he's rolling up and he's taking care of it. If Mr. Brent Carson will come up here and join us. He's done an amazing job for us. Yes. There we are, sir. Thank you very much. And here's all of his family. They've been patiently waiting back there for him. Hello. Brent's totally surprised. All he thought he was doing today was helping the Easter Bunny. So this is definitely a surprise for him. So
You can at least smile, Brett.
we thank you very much for everything. Thank y'all for joining us. Very much. Thank you. Okay, I think that's all for me right now. Oh no, I might as well just stay here because the next one's me too. So, no, minutes first, so.
I'll second it. Yes. Yes.
I'll abstain, Mayor. I wasn't present for the March 7th meeting.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Yes.
We just need a motion approving authority for the city administrator to go ahead and enter into contract. We had been doing the due diligence required to check up and verify on all the submitted documents, and so we're just needing y'all's authorization to go ahead and enter into that contract.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we enter into contract.
Dominguez.
I'll second it.
I have a quick question. So everything checked out? Everything that was submitted checked out? Okay, then yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Okay, well, we're seeking approval of the resolution to purchase 8 portable radios. Ours, I think the ones we have now, we purchased them in 2017, and they're getting pretty bad. And hopefully, I'd like to personally thank Floresville, because one of their officers, sergeant, came over and helped us with the grant. So we'd like to move forward with that one. Now we're getting spoiled, right? We got our ballistic shields, now we're asking for radios first of all, so we need that resolution, see if we can get passed.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
I have a motion.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, as read.
As read.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Councilman, no one, have any questions? Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilman Dominguez?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Flores? Yes. Councilman Fernandez?
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem? Motion passes. And then again, wait, okay.
Again?
Item C, discussing the possible
Tell you we're getting
action on
spoiled.
approving Resolution number 2023-03-02R, authorizing the submission of a grant application for body worn cameras for the Punta Police Department. No, he reviewed it.
Okay, yeah, like I said, on this one, we're wanting to see if we could purchase 12 body cameras. Again, the ones we have, they were here when I got here. So we've had a couple of them broken. And with the new system that we bought for WatchGuard, now we got to upgrade our body cameras as well, so they'll work in unison. So that's what we're asking on this resolution.
I'd like to make a motion.
We have a motion for Mr. Sanchez,
I'd like to make the motion as read.
Fred,
I'll second it.
and second, Mayor Pro Tem Councilmember Sanchez,
To pass, yes.
Councilmember Dominguez,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Flores, Councilman Fernandez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Batista.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item D, discussion possible action on citizens agenda. Item submitted by, Salvador Armada to clean that sewer back up at 905 School Drive.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, city council members, my name is Salvador Almanza. My family has a residence at 905 School Drive. It's at the intersection of Avenue C and School. It's the house in between the two streets. So that's us. Now, I have to start with a tale about more than 10 years when we had a backup one time. We had to clear up a sewer line from the house to the top of the flood control ditch. And that was about 100 feet. But we also found out that, well, the plumbing contractor that was digging the trench found out that the sewer line was going down the bank. And so we had to call up the city to find out if we could dig up that area to continue looking for the sewer line. Nobody knew where the sewer line went at that time. So we got permission to do that. And then we came upon a 90-degree turn, and that was all encased in cement. And so the plumbers took care of that, and then they kept going down the clay sewer line until the line was cleared. There was no debris in it or anything, and so they just suggested that we just hook up to that line right there. And so that's what we did. Now we're back to 3 years ago. We have 2 cleanouts, and went there one day, and one of the cleanouts was busted, and the sewer backup was just flushing out. So that was happening at that time. The city came out there and cleaned out the sewer line connection, and then they fixed it, and everything was working well. And then 6 months later, backup came up again, and it was coming up through the cleanouts. And when they just opened the cleanouts, all the water just flushes out. So that was, I don't know where the pressure's coming from, but that's what happened. So now last year, in February, we had a problem that was cleaned up. The city crew went out there, took care of it pretty quick, and it was working again. But this time, the line worked for 9 months, because I remember that it was on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving afternoon that the line backed up, and the city went out there, city crew went out there and started clearing it up. But at that time, they ran into some, I don't know, pressure, because the water would just gushed out when they opened up the cap.
removed the cap, the water was just gushing up. So that happened. They tried to get in the cleaner, that water hose, that pipe that they use to flush out the water lines to clean up any debris that might be on there. So they did that, but they ran into problems because the water kept backed up again while they were applying the pressure. And I'm saying there has to be some pressure in there because the machine that they were using, they had a coupling that discoupled a couple of times. But once they got it running, and then they finally did clear it, but then it stayed there. And it stayed clear, and it's clear right now. But I did ask to find out if we could find out what the problem is. And we found out that from the point where the cleanouts are to about 30 feet, there is an obstruction. The sad part is that the city crew, Mr. Buenteo, could not figure out what the problem was because it was underwater. It had water in there. So the obstruction is there, don't know what it is, and don't know if it can be cleaned out or not. So what my question is how can the city help find out what the obstruction is so that we can clean out that sewer line that drains the house property?
Council, if I may, if Mr. Bontello can shed some light on his findings and what his recommendations are at this point, that would help shed some light.
We've gone several times to go clean it out, and we TV'd it a couple of times already, and what it's showing from the clean out on his property to where the problem's hitting, it's about 60 to 65 feet, which is still on his property. And it shows that there's holding water, so that means that the line collapsed a little bit. It's got a belly in there, so that's what holds water. So throughout the time that they use the restroom, it collects and it collects. So staff recommends that we don't go into private property. That's not practical. We're going already and cleaning it out with the machine, and helping them out so they don't have to suffer and not being able to use the facilities.
Council, if I may, and municipalities are not allowed to expend, funds on private recipients. So it is, constitutionally prohibited for us to, expend funds further. I think the city has done its due diligence in trying to maintain, trying to assist. At this point, I think it's a plumbing issue that
Correct.
is on the private resident side. So it would be a matter for the private resident to contract a plumber to assess the issue.
And may I add, there's where it's hitting, there's shrubs, trees, right on that spot. So 99% of the time it's gonna either the roots push the pipe down or it's clogging it up. Now, if the plumber goes in there and he exposes it and it keeps going further into the city, well then we'll attack it then. But once it's on our property, on the city property, then that's when we can go in there.
Mayor, if I may. Mr. Almanza, this question is for you, sir. So where you believe that the obstruction is that on your property or is it on city property in your belief?
Well, we just found out where the obstruction is.
Okay.
And it's on top of the bank.
Okay.
Let's say this is my property.
Okay.
The drainage control ditch is here. The obstruction is on top of the bank right in here. But the line goes through the bank. It's outside where my property is on top of the bank. The line, the L that I was talking about, the 90-degree, it's in about 6 feet from the top of the bank, on the bank of the channel control ditch.
And where is your property line in relation to that bank?
Well, I can't use it. It's a
That
control ditch.
he lives right next to the
Right, I know where he
100-year
lives,
flood
yes. You have that
drainage
drainage
ditch
ditch
that
there.
the Corps of Engineer came. And it's property right at the embankment. So, I mean, it's one of those deals and the reason there was concrete encasement was because of the flood zone. That's practical. That's what they do. They encase in concrete.
What
But
is
I
the
know
problem?
that they removed that, correct?
Yeah, with the
Oh, they
contractor
removed the
removed it
concrete?
at that time.
Back in the day, yeah, that was back in the day, yes, sir.
And it's been replaced with what? Do you remember, Mr. Alonso, what they replaced it with? Was it
What-
PVC or?
What we TV'd it, it's PVC,
It's PVC.
but you can see the indention in the dirt where it's gone down some.
And
So
when you
I don't-
TV'd it, did you see any defects where it looked like the PVC was in any
I
way?
didn't see any defects. I just could see water in there holding, and that just a telltale sign that it's holding water. It went
And
down.
based on your evaluation from where you TV'd it to where it got, that was still considered on his property?
Yes, sir.
And how much further would this count, would the city property
Uh,
get?
Maybe another
assumption?
20 feet or so.
Okay, so it's still a good,
quite a
it's
bit.
not right on the property line.
It's
in
quite a
other
bit,
words.
yeah. Yes, sir.
So,
See,
Mr.
that-
Alonso,
Excuse me, sorry.
no, sir, go ahead.
Okay, no, the question that I had is, if we had to dig into the bank at that time, and the only thing I can remember, it's been more than 10 years, because when I was waiting for the contractor to come by with their backhoe machine, there was snow flurries. That's the only thing I remember when they repaired that. But it went into the bank, about halfway down the bank, and then it came in a southerly direction. And from there on, that was it, because the connection was made, because the clay pipe that was there was clear of obstructions at that time.
And normally the clay pipe is what our lateral line is. So if it's clear of obstructions, well then that, the only thing I can think of is when they did the tie-in, it went from clay to PVC.
Yes.
And then that's where you have your weakest points.
Can
And
you-
normally they do the tie-in on their property.
Can you TV from the, from the city
No,
side?
sir.
You can't do that backwards, just to kind of,
Well, there's no access to it.
No access points.
Yeah, you can't go through the manhole. It's
So you
very
can't really-
difficult, because you're going against the current of
the
the
flow.
water.
Gotcha.
So that's what I wanted to have the discussion with, to find out what is city and what is mine property. You know, what I can use and what I cannot use. I can't use the flood control ditch for my property. So that's what my question is, what can we do with that?
So originally, whenever you did that, you actually asked the city for permission to be able to come onto the city side and be able to dig in, right?
And by permission, the city crew went out there and said, yeah, you can go ahead.
That's how you
dig it
got
in."
permission, okay. So theoretically, you would be asking the council at this point to go ahead and do that again? And
Well,
then
we could
if you
do
find
something,
out,
find out what the problem is.
yes, sir, well, I'm saying that you would be able to ask, you were asking the city, if that's what you're asking, I don't know if that's what you're asking us now or not, but asking the city for permission to be able to go ahead and do an exploratory or excavation. And
Observation, to
up,
find
up,
out what it is.
up to the point of your property line.
Yes.
And if there is no obstruction visible at that point, then I would assume that as a city, we'd be responsible from that point forward. But at least we would, in his assumption, and Mr. Monteo's assumption, is that it's on your side of the property. So we certainly want to clarify that.
Yes.
And if you were willing to do the excavation on your side of the property, up until the point to where it gets to your property line,
Yeah.
I think it's only fair at that point that we would then take over
Correct?
at the city's expense, and we'll be within our legalities to do so, to be able to continue the exploration of where this blockage is at. But of course, if you find a blockage,
Oh, yeah.
well, then
I mean,
it's
sounds
gonna be on
logical,
you.
sounds
Yes, sir.
reasonable, But here's the problem that I see.
Yes, sir.
If the sewer line is about 30 feet on the bank, and then it's cutting back into the triangle of the top of the bank and my property line on this side, on the Avenue C side,
Yes, sir.
if it's cutting back into that, why is the responsibility in mine when it's coming in from the city-owned property? The sewer line is coming in from the bank. That's
So-
what my question is.
I think we should have like pictures, drawing, you know, like a diagram of everything he's talking about, so that we have an
Right, you
understanding
can have a better
of
understanding.
where the actual, where you say the dip is, where his property line is, so that we can explain, cause
Well-
without knowing all that, I mean, you're saying it, but I'm more of a visual person where I can say, okay, look, yeah, you still have 30 feet till you hit the embankment or whatever, and then we can make a decision. Like going blindly like this is kind of like going nowhere, because it's just the two of y'all going back and forth without having any actual things to, so that we can explain to him, look, it's still on your property, but we don't have that to justify it, because we don't have the, I don't know where the hole is or the,
So whatever it is,
Problem
they
is-
probably looked at it, it has to be dug into from the bank also.
Well, normally, before the Corps of Engineers came out, his property went into to the creek. But of course, when they excavated and they put it back, well, they kind of took away some of his property. But it's theoretically still his property, he just can't do anything with it because of flood control.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's anywhere down that flood zone. So that's where it gets a little crazy, but his sewer line is right now on his property. Theoretically, it's on his property.
I see what you mean. Okay, I see.
And it just-
That's good. That clarifies it a lot.
It just starts creeping into closer into his property as you go further down closer to the main.
That makes sense. So, Mr. Almanzo, what would you recommend, or what would you like for us to?
I'd like to find out what the obstruction is.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sure you would, because it's.
The obstruction, now, we're talking about property line. The obstruction, let's say, okay, this is my property line right here. North to south, School Drive to Avenue C, the corner of Avenue C. The obstruction from Bobby's point of view is that it's on this side of the bank. It's on this side of the bank.
What are your legal boundaries as far as through the appraisal district? Does it incorporate part of that drainage?
Well, it shows that at one time the owner owned 2 lots right in there
Right.
at one time.
But as far as, like I said, what's registered at the.
But for right now, it's,
appraisal?
who owns the flood control ditch? That's the question.
It would-
Partially the city and partially you.
Yeah. it
We
would
can
kinda
certainly
I
look
can't- I
into
can't
the
use it.
property, description and the easement, if that's what council decides, and, maybe there's some documents that we'd be able to provide to you guys next time to better assess where the property line is and where the liability line is.
I kind of agree with Crystal. I'm sorry, Councilmember Bautista, that maybe we should come in with some visual aids to help us, and maybe bring us the property lines. And that way we can make a better determination on what we can do to help you, because that's what we want to do. We want to resolve this. But of course, we want to stay within our legal boundaries.
Sure.
So if it would be possible,
Well,
if-
I'll let you guys handle the legal description, because all I got is the plat that shows where it goes up to the,
And it would also be helpful if maybe a plumber were to come out to assess the situation. I don't know if you would be willing and able to get that handled. That way it's clear, where, up to what degree the city, begins, the city line begins, and then, that's when we would kind of step in.
I would do that, because in the past, we've had this issue, other than property and embankments, where they get a plumber, comes out and they'll dig and replace everything that's bad all the way to the property line. And then we come in with our camera and our equipment, and we'll visually and flush it out, make sure everything's good, make sure the tie-in's good. And that's where the plumbing inspection comes in, the permits, make sure it's tied in correctly, so we don't have to have an issue like this in 10 years or 5 years or whatever the case may be. And then, we work from the fence or from the property line to the center of the alley or to wherever our easement's at. That's practical, and that's legally what we should do.
so the only property line identified is from Avenue C side. Everything else winds up into the flood control ditch.
And again, that flood control is partially the city's and partially his, but he just can't do anything with it because
If
the
I may.
state took over.
But the area at issue is within his ability to
and-
access and control?
And the problems that he's having, it's outside the flood control. It's on top, on his property where,
If I may. I think it's best that we stay out of this issue for now until, let Bobby and let Miss Popham and legal sort out whose issue is it? Because right now it's just kind of like, where the hell's this pipe at?
I'm trying to describe what it is and how it looks like.
so what you're saying is then if we figure it out that it's on our side, then we work on it. If it's
Right.
on his side, he's gotta take care of it and not
Yeah.
bring it back to you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I-
it's,
I'm
it's,
good
it's
with
clear it's clear cut that way.
But he just wants, actually,
Because
you
that-
just wanna answer, right? You wanna know what you can do, or,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the main thing.
This is what has happened in the past, and we don't ever bring it to y'all. It's in the alley or it's in your property. We dig it, we fix it, or no, that's on you, and we just inspect it.
So I think Mr. Almanza too, if you have somebody inspect it and it comes to be our issue, then bring it to us and say, hey, my plumber said, no, this is your problem. It's outside of where my line is, or, and we can go relook at it and say, yes, you know what, he is right, or no, that's still your property, it's your issue, you know what I mean? But without knowing all that stuff, and having like a direct answer from somebody who's gonna be doing the work, it makes it a little hard for us to be able to make a decision on it.
Do that. Well, I'll listen to what y'all said, but if y'all can address it to your staff to do so.
I think I've done the
Well,
motion quite a
if I may,
bit.
Mayor, I believe, Mr. Almanzo, at this point, the direction is that for you to make the assumption or make the determination, whether it's ours or yours, because right now, from what our staff is telling us, it's actually on your property. Now, again, if, you know, your plumber decides that he runs the camera or whatever, and it turns out to be on a city side, we'll certainly take care of it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But again, we have to have that documentation.
Okay, well, now I misunderstood. I thought he said Bobby and the city administrator and going to get together and figure it out and try to work something out.
To a
See
certain
what
extent.
direction to go to.
Yes, sir, to a certain extent, but if there comes a necessity for you to
Yeah.
bring it back to us.
Yeah.
Then that's what Ms. Bautista was saying, that you could bring it back to us, and at that point, we could discuss either financial compensation because you expended money on the city side, or whether we would take over the project and finish it for you.
Yeah.
But we certainly need to have some kind of documentation to say, this is where the problem is at, because right now what we're hearing is what's somewhere between here and there.
Yeah.
You know, and then we have that property line that's gonna be the barrier that, as far as what we can do for you. So because our staff is telling us at this point that it is on your property, we have to listen to our staff recommendation. And we have to assume that they're correct, but, you know, we could be wrong. And if that's the case, it certainly come back to
Well,
us.
he's got the experience.
Yeah, he knows. And that's why we trust Bobby, because he's given us good information in the past that we were able to rely on. And this man's been here for a long time. He knows where all the lines are at and the history of underground OT. But, we would certainly ask that of you, if you could bring us some kind of documentation, so
Well,
that we can
that's
certainly take into
what I came here
consideration.
for, to get the discussion going and see what happens out and what direction it flows through.
You just really wanted an answer what you could do.
So hopefully that's to your satisfaction.
Yeah, I can do that. I can work with that. It's no problem. I just want to find out because part of that line is up on the bank of the flood control ditch, and I wanted to see what the standing is on that.
So would that be something that you would have to look into since
At this point, since our staff has already gone out and like, we've said that's been determined that it's on his property line, he would have to, you
Start
know,
the process.
start the process to dig up and see where the obstruction lies. If it gets to our property line, that's when the city would step in.
I can live with that.
Thank you. That was just a discussion. Yeah.
Up. Now we got it. Okay. What a difference a year makes. This has been so wonderful to sit here and watch you guys work. I just want to say that. So I'm Dr. Wendy Knox, as most of you know, and I am now the regional director for Belong. So that Belong is basically the CPS conservatorship in the state of Texas now. And so I oversee Wilson, Frio, Atascosa, Karnes, and LaSalle counties. And April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And of course, that is a very important thing that's near to dear to our hearts because in the foster care system, we see so much of that abuse. And we see what happens after that abuse and the trauma-based crisis that it puts the children into. So right now in Atascosa, we have about 89 kids in foster care. Of those kids, 17 are actually still in our county. And that is what we're working on, me and my lovely community liaison, Belia, who you guys heard a presentation from a year ago. We are working on getting more foster homes into our county because when you're talking about 17 kids left in this county, you're talking about a lot of kids that are going other places like Houston, North Carolina, Denver, Colorado. And we want our kids here. It's very important for us to keep our kids here, have them in our schools, and have them in our communities. And so that's what we've been working on. And I'm just so proud that if you guys pass this today, my city will be the first in my region to have the proclamation for this year. Recognizing that you guys realize that this is a problem. It's nothing, bad to do with us as people, but it's just something that is, the truth here. And that we want to be together with these organizations throughout Atascosa County to prevent this. I would love to be out of a job. And so we'll also be coming up with some neat events this month that you guys can come out to. We have a video coming out to most of the churches talking about how if there was one foster family from each church in our county, immediately overnight, there would be no need for foster care anymore. And so we're really looking for that kind of stuff. You'll see blue everywhere. I did bring you guys some swag up there for Child Abuse Prevention Month, bracelets and ribbons to wear. We will probably get with Melissa and be putting some ribbons up around the city just to remind everyone how important this is. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
I do, Dr. Knox. Obviously, thank you for doing this. So what do you think is the best way to prevent child abuse? Do you think, I know when my mother worked at dispatch, she saw a ton of it. And it was always the same story. Well, I knew that was happening, but I didn't want to say anything. Like, this is family members saying that about people, like kids that they know. Is there somewhere they can do it anonymously? Because people are just afraid to report, someone they know, like, hey, you're doing this, it's not right. But I'm not going to report it. I don't want to be harassed. I don't want the trouble. Like, do you guys provide assistance with that?
We do. A big thing is getting past the stigma of reporting it like you're talking about. It's, hard to go and say that against a family member. But we work with the schools so that they know there's a child abuse hotline and an ombudsman who is there to be there just for them. Of course, all of our schools, that's where we get most of our calls from, is because they're all mandated reporters, of course. And so they're our eyes and ears. During COVID, when we were all in lockdown, we saw that go way down and everyone's like, oh, look, we're doing really good. No, it's just that we don't have our normal reportings open. So now everyone's like, well, why is it going up and up? And it is. It's not as much as we thought it was going to, but it is going up as we interact with the children more. But I will tell you, my opinion in working in this is that the number one problem is fathers, the lack of fathers and male figures in our counties. And that is something that we're working very hard with the Poteet School here. The Baptist Church is helping us get a fatherhood initiative started in the Poteet schools, where we will have fathers in the schools. We will be teaching classes to young men at youth groups and stuff to make them be men. That's something that we've kind of lost in our culture. And you can't be a father without being a man. And these kids are having kids at 17, but they're still children and they're not stepping up to the plate to be the man. They're doing the activity, but not, following through with the responsibility. So that is a big problem. And a lot of it is just, what's great about now that it's community-based, and I'm sure you guys know CPS is no more in our counties. They do the investigations and then we step in, and we're a nonprofit that's been doing this for 40 years. We are in your communities and we are here. I talk to Melissa. I talk a lot to her husband back there in Floresville about getting the things that we need in the community and bringing these resource groups. And that's what Belia does, is we will come to you and hopefully in the next year have resource fairs in Atascosa County, bringing all of those resources together to help the kids. We wrap around the kids, we wrap around the foster parents, we try to get the kids back as quick as we can. If they can't, we're going to find them a safe place to be. Any other questions?
No, sounds good to me.
Oh, thank you guys.
If no one has questions, I'd like to make a motion to pass item E as written, declaring April as Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month for the city of Poteet. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
We can read it if council would like to declare it now. I know it's in April, but if you'd like to declare it now in late March. Okay, all right. And I think it's just that very bottom, now therefore it be proclaimed. It's just that one paragraph at the very bottom.
Now therefore, be it proclamation that the city council of the city of City and acting in the ability as the governing body of the city of Cochise, does hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Cochise, and urge all residents to work together to help reduce child abuse and connect in the years to come. Passed and approved on this day, 21st day of March, 2023. You want to stop, stand up first and take a picture, or?
That'd be great.
Okay, Batista?
Sorry, I get really proud of my city doing it.
We have another one here.
See you mañana, ma'am.
Good to see you.
So yep, I put this item back on. We used to stream on Facebook about a year and a half ago, 2 years. I can't remember how long it's been, and it was just really good and transparency, so people can see what their council's voting on, what's going on with the city. I know we uploaded to YouTube, but people like to see it live. They like to hey, do you see what this is going on? I want how that went. No one wants to wait, go to YouTube, see if it's there. And it's a newer generation. People aren't reading the papers like they used to. They just get it from social media. That's just how it is. So I would like to bring it back.
Mayor, Councilman Sanchez, can you please tell me what the advantages are or the benefits of having it live streamed?
The advantage of having it live streamed is if someone just wants to, because if they're on social media, they're gonna get a ping like City of Poteet is live. Oh, what's going on with that? And you see the viewership with Pleasanton, the Pleasanton Express, when they go live, people go see what they're doing. Whether we go live, and when the City of Poteet goes live for other events, people will hop on, they want to see. It's just a good chance to get the council to view, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's on the agenda. It's just nice to have. And it's a good advantage versus this is what's going on the agenda. And if people can't make it, because people are working way more nowadays than ever, so it just gives them an avenue just to, look at what they're doing. So why not?
Mayor, may I ask?
Yes, sir.
So what would you consider to be the disadvantages of having it live streamed?
The disadvantage of live stream, I mean, people are always going to say negative things. People say negative things no matter what. I know some people say negative things about me ever since I started on city council, but that's kind of what we signed up for. We signed up to be criticized, and we're in the public view, so that's the only downside to it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How long does it take for our thing to go on YouTube, our video? Is it the next day or?
As soon as the meeting ends, Isaiah uploads it.
Okay, so it's same day.
Yes.
Yeah, so as of right now, the way it's set up is I have it recording in the back. Once we are done with the council meeting, I'll upload it to YouTube. Now the issue becomes it will go as fast as the internet will go. So.
But we haven't had an issue where it's taking days to get up.
No. It should be ready usually within 30 minutes to an hour roughly, depending on the internet.
So.
Currently, right now I have it set up to where it's recording. Before we did have it to where it was doing the live stream. However, we did face some issues with streaming. The speeds were not fast enough. It wasn't adequate to stream and perform well. We had video, was fuzzy or little issues here and there. So I swapped it out to recordings. That way we can have a more accurate, more vibrant recording.
So it's literally right after we adjourn.
Yes.
If
Now-
I'm- sorry.
Go ahead. No.
So did we run a cable directly from our router to this system to make sure if there's any latency issues that will be addressed?
So
if that was the
and
case?
I was working behind the scenes to try to fix any issues like this. I currently have wire connected. The router is in the very back. It's very long distance, so there are some issues that I had to run through in order to get it connected. It is connected through Ethernet. However, the issue that I've noticed was that the stream will dissipate once the sitting meeting has started. The speeds are fine before then, but I've noticed that there is a guest network that people jump on. The bandwidth will be, disrupted with the network when there's more people around. So it's causing an issue with the speeds,
Yeah, that should only affect the upload speed. I don't think anyone's uploading on our guest network. But it's something that we need to check out. But I don't see any disadvantage to having the live streaming back. If you want to turn off comments, that's fine. I just want something on social media so the generation that uses social media can be involved with politics. Because, they're missing out. Like, Poteet gets about 3 people between under 30 that vote here. So this is just an avenue to get people more interested in politics.
So, I thought we couldn't turn off comments if we were Facebook Live. I thought that was the issue.
I know that you guys took this matter up, when was it, Abby, in October, November?
It was in August.
in August, and you guys voted to go ahead and do the live streaming with comments off, and I think that's when Isaiah stepped in, tried to do the live streaming. And it was then that we were having issues with the live stream. Like it was blurry, it was choppy, but you know, it's up to you guys if you want to direct council or the staff to specifically use Facebook. Then I don't know if we've tried that, Isaiah.
It is a possibility.
I don't.
But wasn't that through Pleasanton Express? Like Pleasanton Express would do the Facebook Live, so it wasn't really the city doing the Facebook Live.
We were doing Facebook Live.
We were.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just so negative, like beyond negative. It really didn't have any positive impact at all. And I mean, even till this day, there's so much negativity on social media that I kind of like it being on the website. Because if you know what, if you're really here for the city and you want to know what's going on, you're gonna go click on that YouTube video to watch it and say, okay, you know, this is what's going on in my city. If you're here just for the drama, of course you're gonna want an easy Facebook access. So I think if those that are really interested and the way we've been doing it, and it's been peaceful and, you know, not stressing out for no reason, you know, because there was ugly stuff about everybody on there, and it goes, you know, beyond us five. So I just think the way we have it now is working great. I haven't had any comments like bad, like, you know, saying that they missed the Facebook or anything like that. And I mean, honestly, I think if you can get on Facebook, you can get on YouTube and find us. That's my opinion.
And if I may, it's just the live stream. I mean, people's comments are reflective of how we're acting. We're acting way better than we were a year and a half ago. So why not? Like, why not just post live? Like,
And I know that's mostly true, but there's still people that are negative 100% of the time, no matter what, no matter how good we're doing, or if we're all doing good, it's still that there for that. And I just don't see it as a positive thing. I think it would take us steps backwards instead of forward.
And I agree. I mean, it's like what Councilman Sanchez said, you know, about the comments of negativity. I mean, some people will go on there and we're not acting like the way we used to act. They literally say, it's boring, I'm going to get off. You know, because they want the drama. So.
And that's just for the people with drama, people that just, you know, they don't know, they don't follow our page, they don't know when we're meeting. They see City of Petite live.
But that's the only ones that watch it.
And for some reason, if I'm not aware of an event just because I wasn't paying attention to Miss Popham's text, I was like, oh, we have this event going on. Let me go see what's going on. It's just good to keep the people notified. And that's, in the end, that's what we want, is people to be aware of what's going on. Not only on the events we're doing, but what's going on here.
May I? I'm sorry.
No, you go.
Just my opinion, I was voted by the people for the people. And the one thing is that I believe in my amendments, my rights. Number one amendment, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. With that being said, there's going to be negativity anywhere you go, anytime, and some people you can't change. We sit up here and we try to make that change. We try to change people's views in the way that we act, in the way that we do, and by the choices we make for the people. Again, that's just my opinion.
Mr. Dominguez?
Yes, ma'am. Isaiah, tell us about the issues you would have as far as sound, because obviously right now we're live or you're YouTubing, you're picking us up on a microphone and it's recording. But if you were to do live stream, what would it take? Would you have to actually physically sit up here and kind of like Pleasanton Express used to do? I don't know.
So right now the current issue that I hear a lot is I can't hear what they're saying. I don't know what's going on, and that goes back to regardless of where we stream, the issue is still going to persist, mainly because the microphones aren't turned on. Each individual station for each person has a microphone, so when people say, hey, I can't hear so-and-so, it's because the microphone's not on.
I see. My next question would be, how easy would it be if, when you post it to YouTube, just to post it to our Facebook page with no comments?
The way that the Facebook is completely different from YouTube. YouTube, you can stream or just post the video. way that it works, that's stuff that I have to deal with in the background. But as far as like the comments and stuff like that, there are some options that it gives, but there's no option for making it to where there's no comments at all. There's no no comment option.
Well, my whole thing is just to get this on social media. People can see it live. And so if no one has any questions, I'd like to make a motion to pass item F as read.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilman Dominguez,
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilman Fernandez,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Bautista.
No.
Be no action taken on this. Thank you.
I would like to just say, on this, if there's a way, because I know Isaiah is the one that's working on it, if there's a way for us to post it on other platforms without going live, without, you know what I mean, comments and stuff, maybe have him look into that.
So there's, yeah. You will have to bring it back.
Yeah, okay, and just have him come up with a
Put it back on
updated,
there.
what other possibilities we have besides just YouTube.
Item G, discussing possible action on the Park Foundation will be terminating their agreement with the city of Poteet. Mr. Sanchez.
So we have an agreement with the city and it's basically just giving reports. And we just want to terminate it because we've had people saying like, hey, what are y'all doing? Like how much y'all have in y'all's bank account? You've made this. Regardless how many times we tell them, they always fall back on this agreement. Like, well, you have to tell us everything. Like, no, we don't have to tell you everything. You don't have rights to the money that we put the work in. So terminating this agreement just gets rid of the report. I mean, this is the second administration that's done it. Not that it's the administrator or whoever. This is just something that it's becoming a trend, and we rather just nip it off. That doesn't mean the Park Foundation is not going to help the city. If Ms. Popham goes, hey, I need this much to do this renovation, can y'all help? Obviously, we're going to help. That's what we're here for. But we don't want this. We want this to stop being used against us as if the money belongs to certain individuals or to the city. We put in the work. We're going to help the way we have to help, and that's it. We just want to go back to being left alone. And yeah.
I do have a recommendation on this issue, but it would require us to break into executive session under Texas Government Code 551.071, just to kind of go over some of the contractual requirements and just to go over, you know, what would really be the issue without an agreement in place. So I just, you guys can either table this for when we break into executive session, in just a few items, or if you'd like to break now, we can do that now. We would just have to declare executive session, Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with attorney.
If I may, there's no real contract. There's no.
The item is terminating the agreement, and the agreement is the contract.
Yeah, but there's no downside to terminate. Any site can terminate within 10.
And that's exactly what I want to explain to y'all. I've done a little bit of research. I've reached out to TML, so there are some issues that I'd like to address council with if y'all would like to break into executive session.
We can do it publicly if you like.
It would not be advisable. It's under section 551.071, there's consultation with attorney relating to potential liability, potential litigation, and any contractual matters. And this would fall under that.
Okay, then let's, okay. Then yeah, executive session.
Do you guys want to table this until we actually break into executive session and then we readdress it? It's going to be a little confusing how we,
let's
how we
table
do
it
it.
then, yeah.
We can move on to item H and then address executive session item G in executive session when we actually break for it. So however you guys want to structure it is fine.
I make a motion that we table it till we go to executive session.
Motion to table to
I'll second.
executive.
I have a second from Bautista. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mr. Dominguez,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flores,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Ms. Bautista. Table to go to executive session and the next after we read item H, I guess. Item H, discussion possible action on turning the old pool park into a dog park for the time being.
So this is something that the community has a lot of interest in, and it's a dog park. No place in this county has a dog park. I know Fonda Familia has one, but no city has a dog park. And if you ever go to a dog park in San Antonio, you see there's a lot of people, and it's just a good place to socialize. And we need to show some love to that park, the municipal park. I think it's its official name. You know, we're showing a lot of love to Canyon Park. Let's show love to our other parks. You know, we got Maxwell and we got Municipal. So it's just something that we did some research in, and we found that this will be good for the community. That pool's been abandoned for over 30 years, and it's been abandoned longer than I've been alive. So it'd be nice to see it used for something. And we're not putting too much work into it because eventually we would like to see a pool there one day. But for now, let's just utilize it. And we do have quotes out there. I did send some plans. Basically, we're gonna add a gate and a doorway, and we're gonna separate small dogs and little dogs. Obviously, we would ask the city if if our insurance covers it, and what's the legal needs for it. I know we gotta have some signs. There's more to it. That's just something that we're not familiar with, so it's just kind of uncharted territory.
Is this we as in like the Parks Foundation, or
For
is
the
this?
Park Foundation.
Oh, I see. I just thought. Okay. I see.
Can I say something?
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Fernandez.
This goes to you, Ms. Martinez. I mean, it sounds like a good idea and stuff like that, and he did bring it up as far as like liability, because I mean, you do see that sometimes dogs do get along, sometimes they don't, you know, and I'm just kind of worried about that, you know, and sometimes the owners can control them, sometimes they can't, you know, just depending on their strength and stuff like that. So
The city is protected by certain, immunities that we're afforded by law. However, the only issue that we would just need to double check and look into is whether our coverage would go up. I think Abby was already trying to get with our TML coverage to see what would that entail us having to pay more, or would that just entail us listing it? Because I know our skate park is specifically listed under our general liability coverage. So it would just be a matter of, working with the city or having the city take on that initiative. So,
And then this was just the fenced in old pool area, right?
The fenced in, we're not doing, well, we are doing stuff on the outside, but for the dog park, it's all inside the fenced in area.
And you said you had quotes and stuff.
We got one quote, but it's a fairly good, cheap quote, so we can get it done. Like I said, we're not putting that much work into it. We just want to level it out, separate big dogs from little dogs, add a dog water fountain, something simple, easy, and have like a, what's it called? It's like a airlock basically, where you can let the dogs in, and that way no dogs are running out into the open, because people do play there. So we just want to make sure nothing can go wrong. And if something does go wrong, it's human negligence, which is always gonna happen. So
I've been looking into this since 2021 when I was running for mayor, because I was looking on Facebook. A person from the Valley was running for mayor. They had a dog park and they wanted to do more stuff. So Jeremy knows I had looked into it and said, let's do something at the swimming pool. But like I said, having a dog park, it's going to cost money. And I still want to do something with it, where the swimming pool's at. We have big plans
I
for
don't
that.
believe we've received any type of proposal or any type of draw plan or anything like that, right? Am I mistaken on that front?
If you sent me a map, basically just like,
just a layout, yes. Well,
basically, that's the only thing that's been
And,
presented, not just a little corner was like lined out on it.
for the little dogs.
I was
yeah.
also looking for something to do at the Maxwell Park, but something, because the one I was looking at the Valley, I mean, I also watch a lot of Judge Judy, and a lot of her cases are with dog parks. Owners taking their dogs to the dog parks, and they end up biting either a person or either the other dog. And so they're always going to courts and courts. I love dogs. Everybody knows that. Jeremy knows that. I've always wanted to look for something for the dogs around here, but I think we need something. Another place was.
I think we would need more information too,
Yeah.
like,
'Cause you gotta have. bleachers. I
Yeah,
saw the
just
one
to
at
where-
the Valley.
Anything relating to city property and city projects is usually conducted by the city, like, so the motion would be for having the city to, you know, work
Look
on
into it.
proposals,
Look
work on
into
bids,
something.
you know, to take that on, to take that project on. We, of course, welcome any donations, and for, as long as they're a legitimate public purpose, you know, we're limited by what we can accept. But yes, as far as whether we can do it, we can certainly do it. Whether you can make a motion, yes, you can. But as far as the Parks Foundation having like the lead on the project, I see that it would be a potential conflict there, just given that it's city property and it's a city project.
Oh no, so the reason it's with the park, because we had the funds to do it, and we want to work with the city to get this going. But before we go too deep into it, we want to know, is it gonna even be approved by council?
Right, and that's something that council would have to take on, and then we would, you know, advise, hey, are you guys able to help us out with this amount? And so it's kind of like you have the cart before the horse. It's the city takes on the project, city takes on the initiative for the bid, and then, you know, whatever organization wants to donate to that cause can do so. So you can certainly take on the motion for the city of Poteet to start developing a bid or proposal for this project, and then, you know, Ms. Popham can certainly start working on that for y'all. And once we have amounts in place, any organization can donate to that cause.
Question. My question is to Bobby. Bobby, that dirt that was put in there, has that been tested? No. No?
That's straight out of the ground, hasn't been compacted, it's got no density, it's got a lot of weight underneath it, it's got concrete, it's got rebar. Not a hazard. We need to test that.
Yeah, so one of the things we had planned, we were gonna like flatten it, move that dirt around. That way it's nice and flat, and we can do whatever we want, make little hills, put rocks in there.
When they dumped all that dirt in there, it had concrete and asphalt.
Could be
A lot of
infested, probably.
My recommendation would be to test the soil, just,
get an asbestos survey.
This is
Yeah.
infested.
Any kind of environmental study, and that's where our engineers will come.
I like the idea though.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Being that it's kind of my expertise, so I can tell you that.
Yes,
the
you.
dog
I want
park
to
is
hear
a
from
great
you.
idea.
I do want to hear from you, Mr. Dominguez.
I think that it would benefit our community and the society that we live in. But again, we have to be realistic about it. It is an expensive project. Just the
know.
very foundation of it, that you'd have to
$200,000.
do, you'd have to draw up the plans themselves. There'd have to be soil evaluations as well to make sure that the soil is not contaminated with anything that's hazardous or toxic to the animals. You have to consider the fact that you have to separate, like Mr. Sanchez says, the large dogs from the small dogs. You have to have the entry point to where the dogs can't just run out the gate. There's two sets of gates is what you're talking about. And so it is expensive. It's a great idea, but it's a project that probably needs to be researched a little more, and to maybe have some comparisons to say, well, the city of Plainview, for example, has got this dog park and it's at this level or this size. It may not encompass the whole proximity of the old swimming pool. We may have to cut it down only because of financial restraints. And again, I know that the Park Foundation is willing to submit some kind of donations or help. And there's other companies that would do as well. You know, there's other organizations that would also want to come in and try to jump on the bandwagon. But I think the first step would be to make an evaluation of the cost associated with just the evaluation. Because if it's too costs too much. Right now, we've got the well so we've got some expenditures. We've got the IRS thing. While it's a great idea, it's an idea that probably this is the foundation of it. This is the starting point. Is you're bringing it to us, something to consider. But before we go any further, it'd be my recommendation that we do a little research. And it's very easy to just go online and just dog parks and see what's out there, see what's going on, and maybe call those cities and hey, how much did it cost you?
I can call to the
You
one
know,
in the
so-
one in the valley. But like
So
I said,
before we invest
Yes.
too much time and money and effort into this, because we got Strawberry Festival right around the corner as well, you know, we need to consider time restraints, financial restraints, and the amount we want to put into it. You know, how big do we want to go? Do we want to go the entire swimming pool? If so, then yes, we have to move a lot of dirt. We got to do a lot of testing. Like Mr. Bonteo says, that whenever you have a dump in there, there's going to be contaminants in there. We don't know if there's any lead in there. Animals are very sensitive. And if you've got somebody, that's a dog that dies because it's in there, then we're gonna probably be held liable. And I can guarantee you there's gonna be dog bites, and there's gonna be dog fights, because that's what happens. So it is my recommendation that this be the foundation or the basis of it. But at this point, we need more research, and not too expensive research, just simple comparisons.
And that's why a simple motion to have the city start developing a plan for a park project would be appropriate under this agenda item, but it would be a city-led based project. And then any organization that wants to help thereafter would, can certainly donate.
And what about the Maxwell Park?
That's what I was telling Jeremy.
I know
said,
it doesn't
why
have the
couldn't we do it?
fence, but it doesn't have all that stuff either.
One of the things.
And it's not utilized as much.
One of the problems we probably would have with Maxwell Park is flooding. Yeah, because when you have a fence catches everything. And obviously you need a very good fence to stop animals from coming in and going. So.
Remember, Jeremy, I told you we could put a fence, but then we're thinking about the flooding because of the hill. Remember I told you about that?
And
So I wanted to
also
do something with
parking.
the Maxwell Park.
Parking. So the plans we had, they had the fences and everything included, like building them. So, and that quote was around $5,000. It's just something that we want to do. But before we put, like you said, too much, I just want to bring it to the city council. Let's get this going. Team effort. That's my whole point. I wasn't gonna say, hey, I want a dog park. Let's do it. Like I need to know all the steps. That way we're covered. City's not gonna, have heartache in 2 months, 3 months after we open it. So that's just something I want to bring. If this is approved, and we can get started working on it, make sure all our ducks in a row, get it going.
I would like to.
But we need to first really look into.
Right, and that
What
would
it's
be
gonna
the
cost
motion
can
is
be
to
approved
have
till
the
we look
city
into the cost and all
administrator
that.
develop a plan. If you guys decide to take action on this, that would be the appropriate action, to have the city administrator look into
Look
plans
into
for
it.
creating a dog park.
And I think it shouldn't be limited to the old pool park. Maybe if there's other
Somewhere
property.
else that we can find a place to put.
Yeah. So just to give us options as far as like locations, and then if it's too much to clear that park at this time, if there's other locations that might be cheaper and faster just to get it up and going, and then maybe in the future do something with that pool park. Because now that you hear about all the stuff that's possibly there, that's a little scary. So, and maybe even Mr. Sanchez looking into other parts of the properties like around here that might be able to turn into one.
Well, I think that's enough said. So I'd like to pass item H, asking the city administrator to make a plan for a dog park.
I have a motion to make,
To have a-
to make a plan for the dog park.
I'll second it.
Second from Mayor Pro Tem Batista, Councilman Sanchez?
Mayor, if
Yes,
I-
sir.
Is there a timeline?
There's no real timeline. We
I just want to establish that there's not a top priority on this, so that there's no set timeline.
do not put this on top of your list.
Yeah,
Do
because
not.
she's got plenty on her plate, so I want to make sure that
Yes,
doesn't
we
think
got a
there's
lot of
one
things
more
going
thing
on.
top of her.
Is-
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes, and
Councilman-
just to elaborate on that, like we're not looking to get it right away. We just wanted something in the plans. I mean, that's just kind of how we operate. We like to just get things going. That's how we did the basketball court over there. We get it going. We follow everything we need to follow. Get the money. We're good to go. So
Councilman Dominguez?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Flores?
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Sanchez, for bringing that up.
Councilman Flores?
Said yes.
Oh, okay, I just heard thank you. No, I heard you say thank you, Mr. Sanchez,
said
for
yes,
bringing
and
it up.
Yes, and thank you.
Councilman Fernandez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Batista?
Yes.
Motion passes
I
for Ms.
guess I was-
Coppin to the good.
I speak too fast sometimes.
Oh, this is the one. Everything. Okay, then we go to item 8, SFU section. Time is 8:20 p.m. The City Council of the City of Poteet will converse into closed doors section to discuss matter authorizing by 1, closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code and section 551074 personal matters. A personal matters under 551.074 to discuss appointment, employment, evaluation, resignation, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the city administrator municipal.
And also section 551.071, consultation with attorney
Okay,
regarding,
Is
item
that
G.
the next page? Oh, okay,
That's G.
okay.
G. G.
Oh, gee, okay, I didn't read that one. Oh, yeah, that's the one that we're gonna go, okay. Time is, like I said, 7. 8:20, págala. Ikaw na soda. Ikaw na pluma. I'm gonna take my pen. I'm gonna take a candy because I'm hungry. Then you can erase everything now. Okay.
It's got enough to finish.
Okay.
Because I put the batteries in there and then when I turn my minutes, I forget to turn it back off. So I run the batteries down.
Good. I already ate mine.
Stay and conduct the Well, I'll tell you, what we're doing back in the day can't fit in this. What we're doing back in the day, was 345 people. Ain't gonna fit in there. But I'm just saying, I mean, what was that? Could help you like, yeah, I don't want people to need to fit there. So it's not like, I mean, help you, it could bring in reason. But then again, it just brings in a bunch of, like, little cartoons, like Friday or Tuesday night, like, they put the trucks and stuff, the little food trucks, they're all saying. I guess, Hey, but that's the first time I ever guessed one that didn't work. That's what I'm talking about. You didn't get it? No, Rick did. Well, that's Rick, that's Rick. You're Rick, he'll call. Yeah, they're good about that. Oh, I like the ones with air conditioning. Richie, come over here. Make sure it's working out. It's on the side. Yeah, it's gonna be a different one. We'll make sure it's got good sound. Ready? The other one, we have to pick it up and take it back. But it's a big, fancy. No, they moved over there for 140. Oh, with Christine, I saw. He had the box from the beer on his head. Yeah, and then he had the baby stroller. He had the car, and he was sitting on there and around to the city. Yesterday. That means something. Oh, and then he was right there. He was right there. All the stuff I called Brandon and say, hey, your friend's gonna leave us with the stuff. You say that a lot. I don't see how he can take it. I'm dying out there. I get cold. Yeah. You know, I see him right there by the car. She was laid out on the concrete. Somebody will run in from the road. There's a thing that got the car on top of it. Yeah, you don't want to go. Somebody else on the family job also. No, I was gonna go. There was another person.
He doesn't have to be that way, he chooses
He
to be
chooses
that way,
right.
that's, the life he lives is his choice.
Yeah, I don't care. It's too cold for me to choose.
Yeah.
Too cold, but it's too wet, yeah. No.
Thank you, sir. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm hot. Peace out, Steve. I don't know, but I'm gonna come in a little late and pop up on the phone. Oh, don't say that, don't say that, we had offer.
No, not you guys, I'm talking my kids,
Oh. We offered that thing? They're all over the coast. They're all over the coast. Oh, man, that cat's terrible. That tore him up. He got third. He got third place. Well, the cat's terrible. Yeah, it was, you should have seen it. Oh, it was, he almost was third, and the cat's traveling home. Well, anyway, yeah. And they catch it, they gotta put a halter on it and go in the crowd. Oh, this cat, he latched onto it, it took him off, he never let go. It took him, it was kicking his butt. And then the one kid got here, took off, and another kid, man, he's so close. And he got it, and another kid grabbed that cat by the tail. And they went to it, so he made the big show. placed third in there, so that put him in the big show, so he got to go do that during the big rodeo. Huh? I didn't see the video on the big show, but I bet you it's crazy. Have you ever seen those men, some of them, they know. Oh, my lord. Well, and then I like the mud busting the little kid. Oh, yeah, underneath you, those little like, oh. It's cute. It's funny. It's funny. Oh, I get one that. All the kids. Hey, y'all get out from right here. 1, 2, 3. And he throws his bag, and all the kids run. The skunk takes off, and all the kids are taking. You ever see that? Yeah, but Ron had the skunk. And he let the skunk go, and all the kids start running. They ask that question, they go, how many of y'all families are, how many of y'all got kids over here? How many of y'all like y'all husband? Where all these kids go? Okay. It's well, I bet you he's got to be hurt, and that kid got to be sore.
I was laughing so hard because they were all the boys went to line up first, all the way to the tent. They were like, we're all standing in line, breathing hard, sweat.
You gotta grab it, keep him, and get that little halter on him, and lead him across.
Some of them grab their tails and drag them like. Fourth overall, he could not get it down. Had it. Picking him back up.
He caught it quick, but he just couldn't.
And it was actually live on the table. I know I was like, what's that?
Where do you need? Oh, and you still at the meeting? Yes. Same part with Sanchez. Some of them are, a little bit. No, she knows that from my pages. Also, yeah, she knows what I'm gonna know. I got the old pager. It's an old, no, it's an old car charger. It's on the charger pager, stayed there. She hears all the trouble. Oh. Go around in circles. Can't beat a dead horse, but he already beat a dog. Oh, no, you didn't catch it first.
At first, he's like,
I
I
saw
didn't
it.
even eat it.
No, I did.
No, he did. He did. Did he lean on it?
Or they turn it off. I noticed a bunch of people were turning off the microphone on the stand. So people were.
No, right when he walked up, he put him, and I went like that, and that habit's hard to break. I was gonna have a conversation, they go.
You don't put that back up. You just reach up like that.
right, I was thinking. I was a chipmunk. No, you wanna help? We made a dip, so we busted a belt. And I got it fixed, I fixed it again. We should donate that stuff. I can't believe people, they'll love to get that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there people die to have that stuff, that machine. Oh, man. Is some of that wood so dry? It's just like powder. And then Christine's over here like this. Yeah? No, I don't think it's powder in this. I even brought Christine some here for her.
The gnats. Does she need them because of you or the machine?
For the machine. I mean, too. I got my earbuds, listening to music, jamming out, but she made when I showed up. Oh, she goes, oh, he's over there at the lab. I go, oh, exactly. Oh, yeah, we were still doing some stuff. Oh, that's it, that's some, I know we didn't finish it. I need to, I go, where the fuck is this stuff? I need to make it work. Cause I was gonna eat, Brett came by, he gave me all that chicken. Oh, I'll make that. Yeah. Yeah. You want a smoothie? I was about to say.
I'll wait for you outside if you want.
Talking any further, it's discussed already.
Oh, yeah, Trina. We're into council meeting, then we go to item 9, no, item. It's 9:04. Did this give something closest session to the city of City Poti reconvenes into open section to consider and take appropriate action on the closed item section as. Did you want to start with the administrator? Well, we'll start with that and then discuss.
Should we go to item G since that was the first one?
Okay, we'll go back to item G.
I'd like to make a motion on no action.
I have a motion for no action,
Second, Mayor.
and I have a second from Mr. Dominguez. Let me look at here.
On that.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know, we talked about people asking for their money and stuff. I just think if they have an open book policy going forward, that might help stop that accusations. So if you, maybe when y'all do talk to them, ask them for an, okay.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mr. Dominguez.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flores,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez.
Yes.
And Ms. Bautista.
Yes.
Motion passes. Now we go back to item 8, which it was 80, we already said it was 8:04, the city council of the city Poti will reconvene into open session to consider and to take appropriate action on the closed section item A, to discuss impossible action on employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of the city administrator Melissa Poppin.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to give City Administrator Melissa Poppin an outstanding evaluation.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to recognize her hard work, her dedication to the city, her commitment when she had no reason to. She's not, doesn't live in our county, doesn't live in our city, but she's put her heart into it and her soul, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Not only by me as a council member, but our citizens. I hear every day, boy, that girl's doing a hell of a job. And I say, yep, we're blessed to have her. So I appreciate what you're doing for us and know that it is being recognized. And in my opinion, you should be Employee of the Month every month.
We don't have that many gift cards, Mr. Dominguez.
If I may.
Yes, you may, Mr. Fernandez.
And also thank you for always having a smile, regardless of the situation, from the worst to the best. You know, you always have that smile, you always have that positive attitude, especially with this IRS. I mean, it's like I said, you came at us with a smile and thinking, you know, we're going to do it, we're going to get over this, and look at what happened, you know. So thank you so much for really honestly being a rock and a foundation here. You know, we truly appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Okay. I would also like to thank you, first of all, to really work with me. It's not easy. So I really thank you, most of all your husband, for him sharing you with us. When you came in, you know what you inherit, and I inherit the same as, and we've been able to push forward, move forward. You know, we had one of the ministers said that we were going to go backwards. We moved forward with, you know, with your help. We solved 30, TCQ citations we got in. The IRS, we fixed that. Everything because of you working with me. We got to move forward. We've got to work on the splash park now and everything, getting new meters. And I just want to thank you. You knew, I'd say you had to know where I was coming from, what I was about. So thank you for putting up with me.
You already know how I feel.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was, but my motion was to give her an outstanding evaluation.
Okay,
Put it on the record.
I have a motion.
Second.
Well, to
Or-
accept, right?
Wait, hold on,
To
can I have,
accept.
hold on.
Is to accept
Okay, Ms.
evaluation.
Batista, please.
Well, the motion's supposed to be to accept evaluation. But I do want to thank you for everything you've done. I think, I don't know if you understand how it feels to be from here and then see it move forward because you're not from here. So I can only imagine like how you would feel if you were from here to see what the changes have been and what they continue to be. And I'm glad that we are all working together because of you and that you have brought a different kind of dynamic to the city. Like before this, I would never want to step in this building. I would be like, I have to go to the city. You know what I mean? And before I was a council member, I was talking about, before that. And it's just different, a different atmosphere altogether. I see how the staff works better together. I feel that y'all are on top of it so much that we don't have to worry about all these fines and all this, oh, we're doing this illegal, or we're doing that, or you shouldn't be doing that, because y'all stay on top of it. And I appreciate all of y'all. You are the head of it, but you do have a great staff, and I know that's because you choose to give them the assignments that they can do. And I want to thank y'all, all you, and then the staff as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for the cross training.
Okay. Okay, I had a second. Was Dominguez, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Councilman Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilman Dominguez.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Flores,
Yes.
Councilman Fernandez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Batista.
Yes.
Okay, item 9, council comments, no action to be taken. Councilman Sanchez.
Just want you all to thank y'all for coming and remember it is our civic duty to vote. Thank you.
Councilman Dominguez.
I want to thank everybody for the unity and how we're progressing forward. And also look forward to getting the economic development going pretty soon.
Yes.
I know I've been kind of falling back on that because I've had a lot of issues going on, but we certainly are I'm gonna take that as a priority.
Thank you.
For economic development and public safety. So look forward to starting those committees going and moving forward on that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Flores.
I just want to say, we talked about in the resolution on child abuse. I would ask parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, pay attention to the kids. You can see a change in the child. When a child is upbeat and playful, and then from one day to another, he comes home and they're quiet, and pay attention to those signs. It's important. So thank you, and also thank you to our legal.
Okay. Councilman Fernandez.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's a little bit late, so y'all just be safe and have a nice night.
Councilman Batista.
I do want to thank everybody for coming. Also, I'd like to announce that the Poteet Little League is having their Easter egg hunt on April 7th. It's a Friday. From 5:30 to 7:30, they're going to have a raffle. They're going to have the egg hunt, music, food, different things for kids to do. It'd be a great time to go support them as well. Also, yes, the child awareness. It might not just be your child or your kids or your children's friend. You might see a change in them too as well. Just from being quiet when they're normally happy, or an unusual scrape or bruise or something. Just be on the lookout for that type of stuff. And I know it's in April, but it should be every day. And then just thank y'all for everything y'all have done up until today. Thank y'all.
Mayor Denise Liz. I want to thank everyone that came, and I want to ask everybody to still, yes, please keep Jennifer Hickman in your prayers. I got a text from the chief today. He had to take her back to the hospital, so I did tell him if he needs anything to reach out to me. And I thank Noe, who's been stepping it up. Thank you so much. And we've had a long roller coaster, but we are moving forward. So I want to thank everybody that's been here. Don't forget the Easter egg hunt that we have on Saturday. Let's make this happen. Have all these children coming in. Yes, even your neighbors. If you see your neighbor's kid out there crying, I've seen too much TV. I guess 2020 and all this stuff. Some of these kids. Even the movie Lifetime. Last night I was watching one movie where parents they chained the kids to the bed. These kids they have no way to escape, and the neighbors. They don't even notice it. That's the sad part that some neighbors don't notice. But if you see a kid there, then you don't see him a whole week. Something's not right. Go knock on that door, call the officer, police department. make sure they go check that house, do a, what is it called, a wellness check, I guess that's what it's called, so, yeah, so, a kid shouldn't have to be living like that, you know, I feel a parent gave birth to him, either take care of the kid or bring him to me, I'll be glad to take him, no big deal. I mean, bring me your pets too, I mean, I'm okay with it, but I just don't believe in anybody being abused. I went through it, and I don't want it for nobody to ever go through it. So please, so can I have a motion for?
I make motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. It is 9:14.
I'll second.
I have a second for Mr. Sanchez. Sanchez,
Yes.
Dominguez,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores, Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
and Ms. Bautista. Meeting adjourned. You know, I might as well take all these over here to Abigail because then, de pelado too.